This is the part 2 of the Properties Configurator, where we explore how we can use it with translation and also changing properties of lights. So I'm going into the scene and let's take a closer look. Here, we can apply a translator to this mannequin. In order to do that, I am going to my animators and we have a translator here. So let's pick the translator and place it. And I'm gonna choose a distance of 100 centimeters in the Y direction. So we're gonna move it up in the Z direction and we can bring it down, not Y. I'm gonna choose once and the speed shall be 0.2. And let's link the object, just like before. And now again, we hit plus. We have the translator and there we have play. Now I'm going to uncheck play and record the state, and I'm going to choose a new state and I'm going to hit play and record the state. That's it. So we can call this up and let's call this down. We can capture the thumbnail for this. Capture the thumbnail again. Great. And we can call this Mannequin Levitate, because we just made the mannequin levitate. And let's check it in action. When I hit plus, we see that the mannequin moves up and down. Great. I'm going to keep her down for the moment. And just like before, we can also make this a 3D object and place this button closer to the base of the mannequin. Quit media mode. Oh yes, we have to add this inside the translator, and we can also give this an icon. If you notice here, we can choose from a list of icons, and I'm going to choose this one, which is denoting a translation in different axes. This works for now, and when I click this, the icon moves along with the mannequin. Perfect. We can check this in action when we hit F12. Great. This certainly works as intended. Let's move on. The most interesting thing about this properties configuration is that we don't have to limit it to simple transforms like we did in the past exercises. We can also expand it for lights. So what we're going to do now is take a look at how we can customize lights using the configurator switches. So I have a lot of area lights placed in the project. And the best part is all these area lights inside of these glass boxes are instances. So which means if I change one of these lights, it affects everything else. So if you know where I'm getting at, it is pretty exciting, isn't it? Let's do this. Again, we are creating a new light configurator, and by default, we go with the default yellow, warm yellow light that's on the project. And I'm going to choose plus to add a new state. And let's pick our area light, and we can change it to a slight pinkish red tone. Okay, and I'm gonna save the state and hit plus again, and we can choose a greenish tone, and let's save the state. Now if you see, we will toggle between these three states. It's pretty amazing. And again, going back to the trigger, we can make it a 3D object. I'm gonna place this outside here. And we can pull it down a little bit. And luckily for us, we have a light icon. We can use this. Let's place it here. Great. Now, earlier we've been using the switch. So when we click the switch, we are toggling between the three modes. Now we are going to use a list. What does a list do? So when we click it, it shows three pop-ups with three different lighting conditions, and we can choose between the three. But since we don't have any icon for this, let me just hold it for now. And I'm gonna take a screenshot. Capture thumbnail. Oops, yeah. Let's do this again. And for the final state. So I'm gonna call this green, warm white, and pink. So now when we switch to list, let's hit F12 to see this in action. We have three options to click from, and this makes it really convenient, especially when we work with materials or when we work with switches more than two states. Like in the previous cases, we only had open and close, so it was okay to use the switch. But when you have multiple states, it's nicer to use list. I hope this gives an idea how lists work. And additionally, we can also customize our list. So how do we do that? When we go into this panel below, let's scroll all the way down, and we have the details panel. And here we can change the trigger color. We can give it a specific color for the light. I'm just going to keep it as is, and I can increase the trigger size, and I can also change the list size, but that's probably too much. We can also keep this at 100%, and we can also fade the trigger, so which means only when we are closer the trigger appears, and when we are farther the trigger vanishes. But we don't have to do that for the moment. And we can also change the trigger to face camera or not. So which means if we turn off face camera, the trigger, as you see, is facing a specific direction only. But we don't want that, so I'm gonna choose face camera, so it always looks at where we face. Perfect. Let's make it 150, and this should be good. Again. All right. Let's quit the media mode, and we can call this light config. So this way we have built 4 different configurators, and let's move on.